Nairobi, Africa. This tournament coming to the city of Nairobi for the very first time. The ladies here, 12 teams, looking for that opportunity to be crowned the African champions. Perfect opportunity here. The line out in favor of Tunisia. Ball comes back, Tunisia with that attacking opportunity, but that's a knock on there. And the referee, center referee there, calls for that knock on, a scrum down to Egypt. A scrum down there for the Tunisians. They were in town a few weeks ago for the Safari Sevens. They're back again in town. They probably came to see what Nairobi feels like. And it is now time, the business end for the women this year. Remember, this tournament has very, very important feel to it. The winner here will be qualifying for the Challenger Series Tier 3. And so a lot at stake here to play for. Quickly tapped there. Egypt. Start, stop. A good switch there. Good tackle there by Tunisia. Tunisia staying strong on their feet. Quick shuffle there. Numbers on the outside. 3v2. Egypt on the attack. That overlap disappearing. Referee playing an advantage. Dangerous tackle. Recycling of the ball. Well done there by Egypt. Boot to ball. It's now a foot race between Tunisia and Egypt. But Tunisia back at home to defend their try line. An opportunity to attack the blind. One man, one pass, one lady on the outside. And it is a foot race to the try line. Running straight is none other than Lamia Mlawa. Lamia Mlawa there. Dots under the H. And that is try time, Tunisia. The conversion was successful. That is Tunisia in the lead. Tapped backwards. Free ball there, but a hint of a knock on there on the floor, but the referee allows play to continue. Numbers on the outside. Another step, a good step. This lady has some brilliant stepping skills. Ashraf Youssef Mahmoud there. That's a knock on. An unfortunate one there for Egypt. Egypt have had possession. Egypt have had possession, and they've not really done so much with the possession that they've had so far. The current score, ladies and gentlemen, is 10-0 in favor of the Tunisian side. And that is halftime. The opening match of this year's Rugby Africa Women's Sevens. At halftime, ladies and gentlemen. Beg your pardon, that is not yet halftime. Kickoff, still playing with the referee's clock. Possession with Tunisia. Tunisia on the attack. Player off their feet. That's holding on. Egypt has a penalty and they opt to go for touch. Looking to set up a line out and look to attack off the set piece.
Director, are you able to hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. Audio?
Egypt looking to score before the halftime break. A break on the outside there. Time for wheels. Good defense there. Player tackled, not releasing the ball. That's holding on. That's a penalty to Tunisia. Egypt had made a break there, and Tunisia decide it is halftime. The halftime score, Tunisia 10, Egypt 0.
we are ready for the second half. We are ready for the second half of this first match in the 2025 Africa Women's Sevens Championship. This is the 14th edition, and in it we have Tunisia taking on Egypt. Very good first half. Joined here by Walter Orangi. My name is Elijah Toili. We'll be with you throughout the day as we kick off day one. What is at stake here? The winner of this year's edition will get a slot into the Division 3 of the World Rugby Women's Series. At that particular stage, they'll have an opportunity to get themselves into Division 2, playing next year, and then a culmination of the same in the LA Sevens, the World Rugby Series, the finals of the World Rugby Series, where they'll be able to compete with the top 8 in Division 1 to have a feel, to have a chance to remain in Division 1. Egypt started really slowly, but they got themselves back into this match and shooting, going down the left flank, cutting back in, looking for support. Good ball carrier there, taking it close to the try line. Kenzie Mohammed, and just fumbling that one. Referee quick on to the mark, and the first yellow card of this year's tournament goes to Tunisia. 2 minutes in the bin just to cool her heels in the red zone. An opportunity here for Egypt to get into further ahead into the lead. 6 against 7 for the next 2 minutes. And onto the sin bin is Sameh Lawel. Sameh Lawel goes into the naughty bin. Changes being made there by Egypt immediately on cue. Abdul Hamid Shalabi coming in, parking on that left tight prop side. That ball is belabored, but they have a lady out here looking to go 5 meters out, gets tackled short. They'll recycle this one and have to use the full width of the pitch here if they have to make these numbers count. Good passing, but misses the ball there. Ball goes behind, but still able to wrap around, goes round the corner to go for another try for Egypt. Dotting down there with another try, pushing themselves forward into this match. Good utilization of the extra man. So a conversion to come. That not getting over the try line. They come back to see if they can still utilize. Still in the sin bin. Tunisia still 1 man down. Looking to punish them, as you see that replay there, going over for that try that puts them ahead. And after 2 minutes in the bin, Sameh Lawel comes back. Good scrum there, they push it out wide to the left. Then cuts back in, brings the ball back where the numbers are. Just barely into, just outside of Tunisia's, outside Egypt's 22. scrum at the center of that pitch. Then illegal scrummaging there, getting punished for it. Quick tap and go. Going to where the numbers are not, just bring it back to the left. Good, strong collision there. Curtails the motion. Now coming into the close quarters here in the 5-meter channel. Good, strong hit again. Looking to turn over the ball. And Egypt still retain possession. Now 2 versus 1. Punches through that defense line, looking for support. Support not forthcoming. Knock on there, but no advantage. So that ball is turned over to Tunisia. As you see there, that collision area very critical. Trying to offload in contact, but that ball is knocked on. And Egypt able to rebuff Tunisia's advances there. Tunisia, previous winners of this tournament way back in 2012. They hosted the first few tournaments, the inaugural tournaments for the Africa women's rugby. The first tournament was held back in a couple of years ago in 2004. So they did host the 2004, 2005, 2006 tournaments. Those early years of Africa Women's Sevens Rugby, and they did well in those tournaments. As we see them going over for another try, cutting back, going all the way to the center of those posts, and that try, Ala Hidri gets them further ahead. And with just a couple of minutes remaining, you will think that Egypt will not find their way back into this one. Conversion is successful, and Tunisia firmly in control of this particular fixture. Remember, this is a Pool D encounter. The other team in this pool is Madagascar. It's a 3-team pool. You have Madagascar, Tunisia, and Egypt, and Tunisia edging ahead in this first match of Pool D. Good kickoff there from Tunisia. Egypt will look to get themselves back onto the scoreboard here. They have weathered the storm. That looks suspiciously forward, and indeed it is. Ball going to Menatla Ahmed, and she couldn't make use of that. And that is it. Tunisia emerging winners in this one, winning the first encounter of this year's edition of the African Women's Seven. And that will put them in good stead in Pool D as we prepare ourselves for the next match coming up, which will be between Zambia and Burkina Faso. That will be a Pool C encounter. So the next match, Zambia taking on Burkina Faso. Zambia in their green stripes. Burkina Faso in the all red. kicking us off and immediately knocking it on Burkina Faso side. That is a knock-on. Then punching through, going all the way to score. First try for Zambia. That is Mariana Kasonka. Mariana Kasonka punching through that hole in Burkina Faso's defense and going over to score. And the conversion is successful. You see, they're just identifying that inside defender who was trailing, and then with the pace to burn, Mariana Kasonka goes over for the first try for Zambia. They get to restart, leading this one 7-0. Burkina Faso first time out of their 40-meter. Then moving it, shifting it well to the farthest side of the pitch, going into the 15-meter channel. And hitting deck and quickly recycling it. A blitz defense there from Zambia just ensures that they have to go back and they lose the ball. Turnover and then splitting the defense and going over for their second try. This is quick fire tries from Zambia. They score that one to stretch their lead. Lushomo Liwena with another try, and she will go and try and convert her own try. A handful of supporters here from Zambia already on the grounds as that conversion is successful. 14 up against Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso yet to get into Zambia's half. They need to work better to retain possession. You see there, just slices through the defenders. That turnover punished. Kickoff dead center of the pitch there by Zambia. And they immediately get their defensive structure into play. Ref playing advantage for a high tackle. A high shot. What will Burkina Faso do with this one? Good strong carry there. Goes into contact and retains possession. Fatoumata Terra. Referee brings it back. No advantage from the high tackle. Oh, that was a setup right there. The defender had already screened her man, and Burkina Faso just their worst enemies right now. Some errors that turn possession back to Zambia. Zambia needing no more invitation. And they will look to punish them for this one. So Zambia with ball in hand, going round and clean pair of heels there. Lushomo Liwena with her second try. And that pushes them up further, 19-0 up. Burkina Faso getting a hiding in this first half. So much pace from Zambia. A lot of pace to burn. Burkina Faso yet to get themselves into a proper defensive setup. That conversion is successful Another good one. 21-0 up. Looking there, just going outside her man, and then enough pace to get past Lilane Some. Lilane Some not getting any fingernail in that defense. Finally, Burkina Faso getting a taste of Zambia's half. They have been pinned in their own half. A couple of mistakes, making that work to their disadvantage. As looks suspiciously coming from the side, but Burkina Faso retained possession. Then quick off the defense line. Burkina Faso need to recycle themselves faster into play. Very slow ball from that rack. Defense is already set up from Zambia, pushing them back. Finally, Burkina Faso crack under pressure and knock it on. That has been the story of this first half. Zambia very clinical, very precise in defense, applying defensive pressure and knocking it on from Burkina Faso, turning over possession to Zambia. Seconds remaining in this first half. Zambia comfortably in the lead. Ball is out. Goes to the try scorer looking for a hat trick. She'll get the hat trick. Yes, you bet she will. Pace to burn. Lushomo Liwena with her third try and fourth for Zambia. Comfortably in the lead as we go into just seconds away from halftime. Creating a mismatch from that scrum. Identifying the left side, attacking there and going through the gap there. Zambia showing their mettle early on. Good successful conversion. 28-0. And in this pool, Zambia putting their hands up very early on. Uganda also in this pool C. Uganda, Zambia and Burkina Faso. Uganda will have something to say about this pool later on as they will get their match. Good kickoff, electing to go deep and pinning the Burkinabes into their own 22. This time round, they elect to use their boot to get out of the 22. Lushomo showing the ball, attracting defenders, but that pass goes to Deck, and they lose some territory. They have numbers out wide to the left, taking out, that's 2v1. Conversion is successful there, and Zambia just stretching themselves further as we get into the first half. Big, huge score from this second match, 35-0 at halftime. Burkina Faso in serious trouble as we go and wait for the second half. We are getting ready for the second half. Second half in this second match, it's a Pool C encounter. Burkina Faso taking on Zambia. And Burkina Faso have had a very tough first 7 minutes of this match, trailing heavily here, 35-0. Barely made any impression in attack on the Zambians' defense. It has all been Zambia in the first half. And this one has all the makings of a very big score, unless Burkina Faso can get themselves back into shape. So we get kicking us off is Burkina Faso. Referee signals the start of the second half. They just go center of the pitch. Zambia looking at their options, bringing it to the left, carrying it. Defense is well set up here, but they miss that tackle. However, cross-cover defense into that gap. Puts a man down. And they go to the right. Still in their own 22, cuts back in, opens up the defense. It's a foot race here. Going. Seems like she's gone all the way. Milika Tembo passes it out to the supporting player, Lea Mbukwa. Lea Mbukwa is going over for another try. That is just waiting to score there, waiting to put the ball down. One of those times in the game when it becomes a little bit difficult, unsightly to watch. Burkina Faso have to go there and ensure that they force the player to just put it down. The referee calls it. Conversion is successful there from Lushomo Liwena. Zambia getting themselves further ahead, 42 points. And the attack has been imperious. Burkina Faso just not keen on defense, missing tackles, one-on-one tackles. They have not really been outsmarted in terms of numbers on defense, but those fast tackles missing and allowing the likes of Lea Mbukwa to benefit from those line breaks, as you see her on the screen there with her first try in this match. There's a knock on there from Burkina Faso. Not doing themselves any favors. Laboring to just remain in this match. Putin just waiting for the ball to get out of that scrum, and they have it well, taking it to the right, have numbers out wide. That pass is important and it gets to hand. But good cross-cover defense there, recycling well. Zambia just trying to ensure that they get to retain possession. Good pick and go at the base of that track, looking for gap, then gets tackled down. Juliet Mwamba, and it's a turnover. Burkina Faso turn that ball. The referee penalizes Zambia for going off feet in that contest area. The rack is a critical set piece, but when you arrive to contest, you must remain on your feet and support your body weight. Zambia guilty of not doing that. That should be a turnover. Isolated, went onto the deck. First man in, Jakula, successful one at that. Then goes quickly, tap and go, gains some 15 meters there, valuable as Burkina Faso are reeling here in defense. They are 2v2, so it should be a case of ball to hand, doesn't go to hand, referee plays advantage. Burkina Faso just interfering in that passage. 2 versus 1 here, straightens and goes back in. Veronica Lungu offloads. Another offload, goes onto deck. Joyce Mumba. Good recycle, and Zambia upping the ante here, keeping the ball moving, keeping the pace quite frenetic, but in that moment just isolating herself, and Burkina Faso doing well to turn over that possession. Hands on knees all over on the Burkina Faso side, really feeling the tempo was quite high in the last 1 minute or so, and calling for reinforcements from the bench. As we see players coming in on the Burkina Faso side. Off your screens, Yasmin Koulibaly coming on. And Burkina Faso go for the line out. First line out of the game we are seeing deep into the second half. And Burkina Faso just trying to get themselves organized. Who is the thrower? Seems like they're a bit probably thought that the line out belonged to Zambia, but penalty kick, they took it. The line out not done properly. Ball is turned over, thrown to Zambia, and they scooter over for another try. It's a big score here in this second match. And inquisition there at the back end of your cameras there, as you see them trying, Burkina Faso ladies trying to just ask each other who was doing what, but that line out throw was not accurate. Ball turned over to Zambia, who gleefully go over for another try. As you see there, straight. Into the waiting hands of Alice Phiri, and she scores that one. Burkina Faso will want to see if they can get a try, and brushes off the defender there. Line break. First one for Burkina Faso, but not having sufficient pace to go all the way. Fatimata Terra gets nabbed 10 meters into Zambia's half. They'll want just to put some points on that scoreboard as this match goes to its end. Seconds remaining. That pass again not going to hand. That always does curtail momentum for the attacking team. Referee penalizes Kombe Margaret for going round the rack. A lot of cheers here for Burkina Faso if they can get their first try, but knocking it on. However, the ref was playing advantage for that high tackle, and going to cool her heels, will not get a chance to come back into this one. Alice Phiri, the previous try scorer, goes into the sin bin. And Burkina Faso now have an opportunity, 7 against 6, to get themselves onto the scoreboard. 47-0. We are into extra time here. If they can make good use of this one, that they seem to be excess numbers on the pitch. There are 8 of them. Have to get the technical bench to correct this. Extra players on the pitch from the Burkina Faso side. Things still trying to learn the ropes, and the referee looks like he's penalizing them. What a loss for an opportunity. But Zambia not having enough and looking for another try to seal off this match. Milika Tembo hands it over to Prudence Chola. Prudence Chola goes all the way, very pacey player. Right under the upright sticks there, and that is a wrap in this one with a conversion to come. 0 is how this one ends. Burkina Faso not getting themselves onto the scoreboard. And steep learning curve for Burkina Faso. That's a huge score. Zambia, big score here. They'll have to contend with Uganda. Uganda coming on later in that Pool C. As we move on to the next match, and that one will be Ghana taking on Cote d'Ivoire. We kick off for the third match in this year's, the 14th edition of the African Women's Sevens. This one is Cote d'Ivoire taking on Ghana. Ghana were the hosts last year for the African Women's Sevens, and quick off the blocks, going over Ghana. Quickly off the blocks, going over to score that try. Pauline Nia with the first try against Cote d'Ivoire. The Cote d'Ivoire men have a pedigree, if you remember them from way back in 1995. Went all the way into the 15s, the men's version went all the way into the 15s World Cup. So they do have solid credentials around the rugby pitch, but the ladies here have to put their hands up. As we see Prudence stepping back, Pauline stepping back in and going all the way to the center post. The conversion is good, and Ghana leading this one 7-0 in their all-black stripes. Cote d'Ivoire with that familiar orange and white shorts. Big, huge tackle there. Ball is turned over, and immediately they go attacking on that 5-meter channel, trying to shrug off Dorothy Owusu-Ansah. Still pumping and offloading in the tackle and going over for their second try. Sheila Dede with the second try for Ghana. Oh, the Ghana ladies looking very strong here in contact. This, of course, is a Western Africa derby. If it were the round ball, they'd have tipped it to be either side, but Ghana showing here that they are favorites. Quick off the blocks. 2 minutes into this one, they are leading 12-0. That conversion not successful. Kicking to restarters. Pauline Mensah, scorer of the first try, puts it just into Cote d'Ivoire's half, and they make a meal of that one. It bounces back to Ghana, but a immediate turnover, which the referee penalizes Cote d'Ivoire for going off it, and a quick tap and go, going over for another try. Pauline Mensah, very quick, puts it down for another try, and Cote d'Ivoire reeling here, not having possession, turning it over, and doing everything wrong. Yeah, the conversion looking good there. Very early on here, Pauline Mensah looks like a thorn in the flesh. Had the wherewithal to know that the space was behind that track. Quick tap and go. Of course, off a penalty, you cannot touch that attacking player 10 meters from the restart point of the penalty. And she took good advantage of that. Knocking it on and turning over possession again to Ghana. There is a yellow card coming here. Offside play. The yellow card, first yellow card of this match, goes to Cote d'Ivoire, playing with 6 in the next 2 minutes. As if Ghana did not need any more favors. They are granted that one by Aicha Bate. Aicha Bate going onto the sin bin and in disgust with what she's done, throws away her headgear. They are costing her team probably the next 2 minutes. They're just hoping that she doesn't pay much for that. Going off into the blind, but gets nabbed. Mary Plange then steps back in, gives it to Pauline. Pauline offloads. That ball looks like it has bobbled, but still in play for Ghana. Going, pumps and goes all the way to score another try. Grace Aduntiira. with Ghana's 4th try in this first half, making Cote d'Ivoire pay for that.
With another try for the Masters.
One man down.
Not forgetting that they were the host of the last year's African Women's Sevens tournament on the University
This third match we're seeing here, big score.
Dominating Ghana 22.
Pauline Mensah,
Dominating
captain of this Ghanan side.
Ghana 20.
Ghanaians are not hanging around,
0.
winning these comfortably in the first half. Looks quite similar to the previous match. Gunning for a very big score in the first half, and Pauline puts it straight into the bread and basket for Cote d'Ivoire's Julie Blue, who just goes into contact, it's turned over, and then another try coming here and loading for Ghana, going quick off the paces there in that turnover. Dorothy Owusu answer with her 2nd try of the match.
Try time. He's another try for Ghana.
Another center post try, another center post try, and Cote d'Ivoire just leaking 14 points in that sin bin period. So, such a healthy lead going seconds into the halftime.
This is about the African Women's Sevens Tournament 2021 edition here in Nairobi, Kenya, where we'll witness top nations.
So joining me back on commentary here, we have Walter Orangi. And we do have
From the southern parts, Lady Martins from Madagascar.
good
Samuels from Zimbabwe.
good restart there, and they get themselves going.
From the West Africa, Cote d'Ivoire.
Goes into contact and just isolates herself, supporting players not coming in quickly. And it's a turnover. The captain pumping her legs into the center, the heart of Cote d'Ivoire's defense. They have a man out wide. Ball doesn't reach her. But again, Ghana just too good for Cote d'Ivoire in this first half with another try, center post try. And that one, Pauline, the captain, converts that one, and we go into the halftime break. Ghana with the biggest first half score so far, 40-0, leading this one.
Ni change ama tuongeze kwa 3?
He's trying to sort himself out of a change. So we are ready for this second half of this one. Ghana with a very healthy lead into the first half. Joining back onto the commentary set is Walter Orangi. Walter.
Well, all right. It's Ghana with a healthy 40-0 lead. On the attack. Ghana, second half, 5:44 to go. Ghana quickly with the wristed, catching the Cote d'Ivoire side napping. And that is another try for the Ghanaians. And going over for the Ghanaians is none other than Sheila Didi Tete. Going over for yet another 5-pointer. Ghana 45, Cote d'Ivoire 0.
Yeah, a very big score here for Ghana, and it's such a problem because you quickly realize that these big scores, especially neighborhoods, Ghana versus Cote d'Ivoire, you'll expect that they have some, some feel of each other in that western side of Africa. But on the scoreboard, Ghana looking really strong.
Yeah, very strong there. Looking at the pictures there as Tete just battled everyone on her way to the try line. That's a big, powerful player there. And the grounding, as much as it wasn't the picture-perfect grounding, it is a grounding nonetheless.
Yeah, that's her second try in this match. The first one was really one that was all muscle in the close quarter combats.
Cote d'Ivoire on the attack there. That's an unfortunate slip there. Hopefully her groin is safe and she looks perfect. Back on her feet, she's just bounced back. Nothing gone haywire there.
Yeah,
for the Cote d'Ivoire side.
Yeah, they have not done themselves any favors. They have had enough opportunities with ball in hand, but they have not had sustained possession. And Ghana have benefited from that, punishing them with every turnover. That's why that scoreboard looks that way.
Yeah, being the women's game, would love to have a female voice on set. We'll be having Damima Duffield later on set to just give us a glimpse of what she thinks about the games this year. The player there, not 10 meters, making the tackle there, 2 minutes in the sin bin. It's good for the women's game in Africa. It's also very good for the women's game in Kenya. In a way, we're going to have an afternoon today where we're going to watch age grade rugby. We have a lot of young girls coming through to play right here at the RFA grounds. We do have the Kenya Lionesses. And from the just concluded Safari Sevens, Kenya literally named 2 sides. And of course, it's quite a number of players coming through. But this is a good platform to showcase exactly where we are as a country, but most importantly, where we are as a continent.
Absolutely, Walter. And very important to just have the young girls have a vision of what they are looking to, what they are aspiring for. And bringing this tournament here in Nairobi also helps the local, the local girls, the young girls around to actually see what they are aiming for. And that really helps to ensure that that pipeline of talent is coming through, and it does well for this particular tournament. I remember the first tournaments for the African women's was held majorly in North Africa. Tunisia hosting around 3 or 4 of those first tournaments. And then later on, around 2009, we had that southern version of that. As we see a try being scored here, another try by Ghana. That is Hawa Amadu with another try that takes them into the half century. And you know, that African women's, we had the southern version coming in from around 2009 tournament that was held here around and in Uganda. And we had the teams around East Africa joining in and some from Southern Africa. But coming together now, honestly, from around 2011 to date, we've had several editions of this one. This is the 14th edition. And it has grown from, you know, 7 teams, 8 teams. Now we have a 12-team format. Such a good thing to look forward to in the African women's in Africa.
Well, true to that, Toeli, but something to note. This morning we've had half-century scores, and this is the second one. There's quite a big disparity between, well, those teams that you can say are ranked slightly higher, as Ghana go over 4, yet another try. Dorothy Owusu answer going over 4, yet another try for the Ghanaians. The Ghanaians now with a strong 57-0 lead against the Cote d'Ivoire side.
Yeah, good observation there, Walter. Those half ton of scores against just the third match of the game just shows there's a depth in the levels that are within even the African women's rugby, because then you see there is a big gap, a chasm that just needs to be sorted out, and more of these tournaments, you know, will help in that.
Yeah, definitely. Kickoff goes the required 10 meters, but they spill the ball backwards, is it? Yes. The referee, they are lenient enough to allow. Mostly sometimes referees will call that as a knock-on.
Yeah, looked like a knock-on.
Strong shoulders there, running straight into the ladies on defense duty. And the Ghanaians are tackling ferociously, and that's a turnover there for the Ghana ladies. The Black Stars showing why they're in Nairobi, ranked, of course, higher than the Cote d'Ivoire side, and taking them to the cleaners so far. The Ghanaians having a field day. An offload there goes forward, and that's a knock-on. Something at least for the Cote d'Ivoire side. And the referee has something to say about that. The tackle continued late into the whistle, after the whistle, that is.
Yeah, it did. It was a late tackle, and you know.
And the referee has
yeah, the game is over
to the end. Yeah,
the game is over. A big victory here for Ghana. First match, and they win this encounter. It is a Pool B encounter that also has Kenya in this Pool B. So Kenya yet to feature, but they will later on. As we move on to the next match, that is a Pool A encounter between Zimbabwe and Mauritius.
From the southern part of Africa, the ladies are from Zimbabwe, Zambia, Mauritius, the Springboks from South Africa, and from the eastern part of Africa, the Lady Crest from Uganda, the Kenya Lions, the host of the Rugby Women's Sevens Tournament 2025, and from the western part of Africa, the Eagles from Ghana, the Burkina Stallions from Burkina Faso, and La Cote d'Ivoire. Mauritius, for the love of Ofeni, Dikomano, Dikomano, Sabine Devon, Naida Juliana Fabia, Mika Joshua, Francis Abby Sophia, Lorna Mila Garcia, Olivia the ladies have authority, Rubizai Chibuku, Tara Monani, Chiwa Mabika, Fafa Tamarina, Rubibo Danzo, Point Sianga, Kuzaya Sidi, Memory
We're into the fourth match of this edition, and between Zimbabwe and Mauritius, and Zimbabwe quickly off the blocks. Fantastic run there down on that 5-meter channel. Kick-off try for Zimbabwe.
Ruvimbo Mudianadzo with the opener there for the Zimbabwe side. Zimbabwe men's have qualified for the Rugby World Cup.
Yeah, after such a long time. I think last time was I think back in 91, I believe so.
A long time coming, and seeing the women also taking center stage in Africa is very impressive. That's a conversion which is successful. Zimbabwe 7, Mauritius 0.
Yeah, some of these players we saw just a week, barely a week ago, down in a tournament that was hosted in Zimbabwe. And now they are able to come here in their national colors and gun for a qualification into Division 3. The winner of this tournament will qualify to get into the World Rugby Division 3. Kenya, of course, have already qualified there in Division 2, so Kenya not in scope for this one, but whoever wins or is a runners-up will qualify for that one. And another try there from Zimbabwe, quick tap and go. Nokutenda Shoriwa going over for the second try for Zimbabwe. Mauritius just not being able to weather the storm there. Conversion is successful, and they stretch their lead 14-0. Look at that, just offloads after a strong carry there by Pauline Sianga. And Nokutenda Shoriwa goes over for their second try. They put it deep into, the restart goes deep into Mauritius 22, and they use their boot to get out of the red zone.
Yeah, that option to kick, the kick is as good as the chase. So mostly when you do not have a good chase line, this is what happens. There is a breakdown, or I mean, the chase line is not as galvanized as it should be, so that leaves gaps. So this is an opportunity they fashioned out. There's a pass going backwards. But here, Zimbabwe had a perfect opportunity. They still have an opportunity here to attack. Ball is kept in motion. The offload being a lucky one, it goes backwards. Play continues, but eventually that's a knock-on. And the referee on hand to award the scrum to the Mauritius side. Now, Toili, what you'd notice from this tournament so far is it is an all-women action. You see the center referees are all women. Our touch judges are all women. The ladies who are on the pitch are all women. This is Rugby Africa Women Sevens. And of course, we have our pitch side MC, Sullivan, who's a lady. We do have Damima Duffield on set, who's going to be doing our post-match interviews later on. So it's all about celebrating women in Africa, and most importantly, this is the best platform for our ladies.
Yeah, knock on there, and just turning it over to Zimbabwe.
Yeah, so it's all an action packed for the women. I remember, if you're watching these games live and you're in Nairobi, find your way to the RFA grounds. It's a beautiful setup here. 2 days of nothing but sevens action. Looking for a switch on the other side, but that ball is knocked on, and the player who was in an offside position picked up the ball.
Now, the women's rugby really has come through leaps and bounds. I mean, I remember seeing the very first tournament, the very first club rugby women's around locally, and also at the Africa international scene. And reflecting back over those 20 years or so, we've come far. The crowds, I mean, coming specifically for a women's tournament, as we see them just coming in, and also the patriotism that is on display here. We see quite a number of nationalities from around Africa who've come in to support their teams. So it's all good news for the women's rugby so far.
Yeah, it is good news, but it is bad news currently on the scoreboard for the Mauritius side, who are looking to fashion out an opportunity to score their first points. And that's a knock on there on the floor. It's a good thing that the Kenya Lionesses did win the Safari Sevens. It builds up nicely. It gives the locals an anticipation now for them to come out this weekend and try and cheer on the Lionesses. But most importantly, Toili, the fan base, the tickets, the ambience. This is what you'd love to do on a Saturday afternoon.
Absolutely. And,
or morning.
Yeah, and if you're a local, you're around the Nairobi capital city, just make your way onto the Kenya Rugby Union grounds here along Gong Road as we watch the women's gun for this, or what is at stake is an opportunity to get into the World Rugby Division 3 there, as we see another try being scored here, Walter.
Yeah, it's Kudzai Wasili try time for the Zimbabwe ladies, going over 4. Their third as we await the conversion. In your picture there, as we await the conversion.
Yeah, misses that one.
That is none other than Kudzai Wasili.
Early days, yeah, Walter, but when you look at those teams that we expect to be at the business end, going by what we've seen so far, Zambia, Ghana are up there, Tunisia, and in this match, I mean, Zimbabwe just looking levels higher than Mauritius, who've not been able to make an impression with ball in hand. Still have another round of matches, of course, coming on. After this one, we'll take a short break as we prepare for round 2 matches, and we'll see the likes of South Africa coming in, see the likes of Kenya, Uganda, and Madagascar coming in to play in that second round of fixtures. And then we'll start getting to see what is at stake, what is on offer here from all the teams.
Yeah, we'll have a clear picture after round 1 to see. I mean, South Africa are the current defending champions. This would be a perfect opportunity for them to try and see if they can be able to qualify for the World Rugby Sevens Tier 3. And I mean, the Lionesses are in Tier 2. The Springbok Sevens women are in Tier 3. So the winner here qualifies to play in Tier 3. So ideally, for Kenya, this is sort of another Safari Sevens for them, but it's important for them to go home with the gold medal around their necks, just to prove that they've actually become a better side, having lost to South Africa in the last final.
Yeah, and I mean, it's also used as an opportunity to prepare for their fixtures for the Division 2 early on next year. So all to play for, and the caliber of opponents also is something that they will get an opportunity to test themselves out, as the other teams just try and work themselves into contention for that one. So all to play for this day 1, and all teams trying to put themselves in good stead in preparation for the knockout phase tomorrow. We say so, a break in play here. Couple of changes, and the referee, center match referee, just consulting the bench, and they call it a break, half-time break. This one, Zimbabwe leading 19-0 Mauritius, yet to get themselves onto the scoreboard.
Ladies Sabres from Zimbabwe 19, Mauritius 0.
So we are on for the second half of this match. Match number 4. Zimbabwe taking on Mauritius. It's a Pool A encounter. The other team in this Pool A is South Africa, who will be taking onto the pitch later on in the second round of fixtures. Zimbabwe have been looking good in that first half, punishing Mauritius on those line breaks, and we see just trying to get themselves into the 5-meter channel. But good defensive work there by Mauritius. 10 meters out from the try line, they swing it out wide towards their right. They have numbers out. One pass on to hand. Good scramble defense from Mauritius that causes that knock-on. Mauritius looking quite good on defense, as Rumbinzai Chigumbu was looking to attack that 5-meter channel. Just another offload there from Pauline Sianga. Goes to deck, good tackle. And it's a restart on a scrum down in favor of Mauritius. It's a defensive scrum down, this one. Barely 7 meters from their try line. There is a medical break, as Francine Hejo tries to get some treatment to some aggressive passage of play there as they scrambled in defense. Huffing and puffing. Mauritius probably feeling it in terms of the altitude. But Zimbabwe feel like home, playing here in Nairobi, the capital city of Kenya, who are the hosts of this 14th edition of the African Women's Sevens. This tournament has been won several times, actually not several, a lot of times by South Africa. 12-time winners. Kenya with that one win in 2018, Tunisia winning it back in 2012. So South Africa, hot favorites. Always hot favorites, as we see in that restart. Zimbabwe going over for another try. That is Kudzai Wasili. Kudzai Wasili barges over and scores.
Kudzai Wasili getting hard, second try.
Fourth try for Zimbabwe.
Who extended Zimbabwe 24. Mauritius 0.
Conversion not getting close to even the try line, but a healthy lead nonetheless for Zimbabwe. Mauritius need just some patience. Those handling skills, as we see that replay, cuts back in and leaves Megan Geoffrey. Megan Geoffrey just clutching at straws there, trying to stop that attacking. Good reception of the ball there and looking to clean up man, but bundled into touch. Referee penalizing Zimbabwe's Rumbizai Chivumbu. That tackle, and they give more than enough, 15 meters or so from that tap and go. Mauritius, enough space for them to work it out, but that pass, knocking it on, the pass was just slightly ahead of the man at pace. Those are some of the skills that you need. Pass should always be ahead of man, but not that much ahead, as we have seen. And Mauritius, those are some of the things that have made it difficult for them to get back into this match. They've had opportunities to attack, but they have not utilized them. Their own handling errors stopping them from making any headways in attack. Zim nonetheless going to the right. Good blitz defense there from Mauritius, forcing play to come back. Trying to push and spread out. They need to spread out the defense here, that are around 15 meters to work with. Trying to brush off the defender there, and she does so. Fafata Garira going all the way to score another try. That was a lot of hard work from her, but she had the 15-meter channel to work with. She still had to pump her feet off that tackle. And Zimbabwe stretched their lead here. Looking really good, looking really solid. Strong athletes. The conversion is not good. Teams being blanked out 0. We saw in the first match earlier on today, Tunisia overcoming Egypt 15-0. That was a close one in comparison to what we've had since then. Zambia 54-0 winners over Burkina Faso. Ghana emerging winners over Cote d'Ivoire 57-0. And here Zimbabwe leading 29 with slightly over a minute remaining in play. Mauritius going into the backyard using the boot there, but well positioned to recover. That one is Taren Munondani, and goes out looking for support. Does well to retain possession despite the attentions of the tackler there, but she's bundled into touch. And Mauritius have another opportunity with ball in hand. Line out in favor of Mauritius as they make changes. For Mauritius zone comes Lola Tehani and packs in at the fly half. And after doing her bit in that match, goes out to rest. Ofile goes out to rest for Mauritius. Now stepping back in, straightening, and then getting tackled, offloads in the tackle. Good keeping of the ball alive there. Another offload. But defense hustling them right back over 10 meters. I have to reset there. Going into quarter, attempting to jackal that one, but the referee says it was an illegal attack of that rack, and they are quick off, tap and go. Man out. Does she have the pace to go round? Yes, she has. Going. Crowd just urging her on if she can be the last defender. Steps back in. Oh, fantastic work, but she still has to make the try line. Gets reeled in. Olivia Harrell after a very good 60 meters or so. Gets tackled 5 meters out. What will Mauritius do here? Quick tap and go. Carrying it into contact and going over for their first try. Francine Hejo. Francine Hejo gets Mauritius onto the scoreboard.
Yeah, they did need that one, Toeli. They really needed that one, at least to register themselves on to the scoring charts, at least for that opener. A good one, of course, for the crowd, seeing that line break. And of course, that 5 meters out tap, it only means that it's either they hold you up or you ground the ball. There's no other way. You go back 5 meters. You're supposed to go back 10 meters, but now it's narrowed down to 5 meters there. You can see there, quick tap and go. So the line dived over. High tackle there, but the ball has been grounded, and it is what it is, Toeli. Full-time score, Zimbabwe 29, Mauritius 7. So folks, we'll be having a nice short age grade break. Do not go anywhere. We'll be having kids coming through at the RFA grounds. But remember, if you have an opportunity to make your way to the RFA grounds, no better place to be. And most importantly, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for those who are joining us from across the globe, our friends from the US, from Europe, from South America, from all the way from Australia, and most importantly, Peter Lugano from South Sudan. Welcome to the live stream. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the rest of this morning stream. This is Rugby Africa Sevens Cup 2025.